Guys, and welcome back. So in this tutorial I'm going to show how to make a pixie cut wig and how to close a sewing without a closure of frontal on the side of the crown, or like in the previous video where I showed you guys how to close on the center of the crown. So this is ribbon I'm using. As you can see guys, it comes in different bundles, and if you look just below the bundles you would see where the inches are written out. So if you care about the inches, you could go accordingly, but since it's going to be a pixie cut and it's going to be cut, you might not look into that. Now in the previous video where I showed how to close without a closure of frontal, I'm going to put the link up and I'm going to put the link after this tutorial. I followed the pattern on the crown and then I ended at the middle. But in this video, I do not intend doing so. I intend ending by the side, which I explained in the previous video, but I didn't show it. So this video, I'm going to show it. And in doing so, I'm going to start from inside of one half and create the circle extending outside the crown. So enough of talking, guys. Let's get to, the main practical, so you guys understand this whole thing I'm saying. So first things first, when working with this kind of short ribbons that come in plenty bundles, the first thing you need to do is divide each bundle into two equal halves and then look for the front of these two halves, because these two halves don't have the same front. You ideally a bundle of ribbon is supposed to have the same front, but they don't. So divide them into two equal halves and then brushing on your lap or on your wig canvas like I'm doing here, look for the front. This very place showing here now is the back. Obviously, as you can see, the short strands there are not laid properly. They are coming out exactly like I'm showing here. They are coming out. So this part is the back, while the other side that laps properly, which is this very one being showed here, is the front. As you can see, the short hairs are not coming out. Everything is well lapped. So like I explained earlier, I'm starting my sewing from half of one side of the crown. As you guys can see, the crown is divided into two. So I'm starting from one side, and the aim is to sew round, go below the edge of the crown, and then continue my circle movement sewing, which if you've seen the previous video I did, you would understand better. But still, for those of us who haven't seen the previous video, I'm still going to try and make this video really explicit and make you understand. But to just get everything I'm saying, especially when I keep making reference to the previous video, I would recommend you see the previous video, which I'm going to leave the link at the end of this video. There's some parts in this video, like this very one for instance, which I'm going to make very fast because I'm not trying to make the video so long and then it's boring and the aim is not achieved, because I want to believe most of the people seeing this video already, most if not all of the people seeing this video already know how to pass a thread and needle over a ribbon on a wig cap. So this video is not showing how to do that. This video instead is showing how to make a particular style. So just in case, I hope you guys understand whenever it's really fast like that. While areas where I need to speak on, like areas I feel I need to pass the knowledge I intend passing, I'll make the speed kind of appropriate. At this front corner of the crown, it's very important to properly lay your ribbon so that your sewing goes in a circular motion, because it is really important that your sewing goes in a circular motion. And if possible, you can use a TP to properly secure that place like I'm doing here. It's actually important to use a T-pin to secure a ribbon. It just makes the work easier, but this very place, even if you are not using T-pins in other areas, it's really important to use a T-pin here to just help lay your ribbon properly and make the sewing come out in a circular direction. So yeah, that's just it for now. On this other front side of the crown, you can see I'm also trying to maintain the circular movement. It is very, very important in this kind of closing that you maintain a circular, you keep going in circles. It's very, very important. Very, 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 very important. So that is just what I have been doing. I have been, moving in circles. Probably how I'm moving in circles as I'm talking, because I'm sounding like a broken record using the word circles. Anyhow, I had nothing in mind when I was, combining this color. Like, just I was just going to play with the color. I didn't have a particular thing in mind, like, okay, I want this color to appear here or there or something of that sort. No, I was just going to use the colors like I saw in the ribbon pack. So you could freestyle with the colors, place it wherever you feel like placing when it comes to the colors of your ribbon and how and where you want to place them. So at this point, I'm almost getting to the point where there's nowhere to sew on. I haven't gotten there yet, but I'm almost there. So obviously I have gone in circles and virtually sewn on everywhere there is on the net to be sewn. And this is the very important part now, where I need to close, where the closing needs to look, really clean, and every other thing really clean basically. So the next thing I'm going to do is cut off the remaining parts of the weave on. That's the part remaining now where there is no place to sew it on, with a blade or a scissors, but I prefer a blade. Blade doesn't cut so much, just cuts where I want it to cut. So using a blade, I'll cut it off and then carefully fold that little part, that little wedge showing, fold it into two, and using the pin I would, sew it inside now to the other parts of the crown where I've already sewn. Now this thing I'm doing here, I'm going to do it like minimum of 4 times, and these 4 times they're going to be in different directions. I would sew the first time down to a direction. Okay, let's use left and right, front and back. I'm going to sew down on my left and then come back up to that same center spot like I'm doing right here. I'm trying and make sure I'm coming back up on that same tiny weft I left behind. After coming back up, I will go down again, this time around on my right. Remember the first instance I used was on my left. I'll go down again on my right this time and then come back up again to that same place. Then the third time I would go, to the back. That's to the back of the recap. Take it to my left, come back up again, take it down to my right the fourth time and come back up again. Then the final one, I'll just take it anywhere. Now whichever direction I take the final sewing is going to be where I end it. And like I'm showing you guys here, I took it down, I don't know the direction I took it down to, and then I just acted like I was sewing, and then I knotted the thread, and that just it, guys. That is how you neatly close, a sewing without a closure or frontal. I did this in a previous video. That is not the tutorial for today, but I just felt like showing what I explained in the previous video, because this time around, unlike in the previous video where where the sewing ended at the center of the head, here I'm showing how I'm showing how it ends by the side. So it's basically just simple calculation. So at this point, I'm done with the crown area of the wig, which is the part I always start from whenever I'm doing a ribbon wig. I always love to start from the crown. That's just my method. Now, when it comes to the back of a pixie cut, or most pixie cuts, if I would put it that way, the sewing should be done close to each other, especially if the lower part of your pixie cut is going to be shredded very, very well. Then it's advisable you place each weft close to the other weft. Using of the chalk there is just as guidance to help me, and so I don't stress myself with trying to insert T-pins, because my mannequin is really strong and inserting T-pins can be tough at times. So I just use chalk to help guide myself. Now you might wonder why the space between each line I drew is kind of far apart. But I did that intentionally because I'm trying to mix the color my own way. So the black weavers are going to stay on the line I drew, while the gold will come in between each lines. So that's why I did it that way. And you're going to see what I mean here. So after every line I sew, I cut the weave on and then pass the thread to the next line, like I'm doing right here now. I'm just passing the thread to the next line rather than having to cut the thread and not the thread again. Now this is so because of the nature of the weave on. If you flip the weave on when going to the next line, it wouldn't play properly. So after every line, it's advisable to cut the weave on and then lay it, be sure it's the front, and start your sewing. Now this is what I was talking about earlier when I said I was going to fix the gold colored ribbon in between the black ones. Now this is just my method, you get. It doesn't have to, you don't have to do it this way. The main thing here, basically, like the main thing here is to just make sure your sewing behind are close to each other for a pixie cut, because at the end when you have to shred the hair, and it depends if you're going to shred really well, like you're going to shred it really well, it will be good if the sewings are close to each other, so your net is not showing, or if it's being sewed on the person's head, the weaving that is done before the sewing is not showing. So that's just the whole idea, basically. At this point here, at this very point, I feel I'm done with the lower part of the head that needs major shredding. So I feel I'm coming towards the crown area that doesn't really need more shredding, so I don't need to make my sewing so close to each other. And that's why I like this recap, because it kind of helps give one an idea of how the human head is. At this point, I am not really bothered about making my sewing close to each other. I am just sewing to meet up with the crown area, and I'm basically doing the same thing I've explained to you guys earlier on in the video, just passing the thread to the next level and then sewing. So this is how the hair usually looks after you're done sewing. At this point, you then style as desired. By styling, I mean shredding as desired with your razor blade or razor comb. Initially, I started with my razor blade, and I remembered I actually have the razor comb, and I switched over because razor comb is kind of easier. It saves you from cutting yourself by mistake and all that sort. Now, this lower back area of the hair is usually in most pixie cuts where the major shredding is done, and it's this shredding that kind of gives the illusion like the upper area is humpy. It's not humpy, it's not like there's much more hair there, just because the hair behind has been removed very well. So you know how illusion thing works now, basically. Now, just a tip for trimming hair, especially at the front area where you get to freestyle. Trim from different angles. Like you can see, I was taking the hair to the side and trimming. At the point, I also went from under to trim. Just trim from different angles so whichever way you want to make the hair go, the hair will comfortably go that way and still look properly laid. I don't know if I'm making sense, but I hope I am. So after shredding or trimming the hair, to get that more defined shape, you go in with your scissors and shape as desired. I gave this hair the triangular shape because the owner of the hair doesn't like hair touching her body, and I figured this shape would kind of, give me the result I want. What I'm doing here is I'm making a permanent part for the hair, and by doing so, I'm passing thread and needle through every single weft on the parts I want to create. So I'm just moving till I get to the closing of the sewing. That's the closing I created without the frontal or closure. This passing of the thread will ensure that no matter what happens, that part will still be there on the hair. And this is because of the kind of person that the wig was made for, because she's the last person that would, have time to do all these sengemenge kind of things we young people do on our hair. Actually, I made the wig for my mother, and she specifically told me, I don't want hairs touching me here and there. This is the maximum length it should be, this, that. I know the kind of person she is. I just had to make the hair like as easy as possible, as I know she would be able to handle it. Having gotten to this point, I just looked for a place behind to pass the thread to, so I can finally knot the thread. Of course, I can't knot the thread where the closing is. I would have to look for somewhere behind or by the side or something of that sort to do the final knotting of the thread. So this is what the hair looks like on the mannequin, and yes, this is it on the mannequin. And this is me on the hair, just playing with the colors, taking the gold one side, bringing it back. And this is what I was talking of when I gave the tip on trimming hair, especially hairs in the front that you might want to manipulate. You see how I took the gold to one side and then the hair under it is still looking laid. So when you are trimming hairs that you like to manipulate, it's always good to cut from different angles so that any angle you want to take the hair to, it will still kind of find its way to lap, that kind of thing. So here I'm just basically playing with the colors, taking it from one side to the other side, just playing basically. So we've come to the end of the tutorial, guys, and I'm hoping you guys liked the video. I'm hoping you guys learned a thing or two. Please do well to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't, for more interesting content I'll be putting out. And for those of you all who are subscribed to me already, I appreciate you guys, I really do. So till my next video, stay blessed, stay out of trouble, and as always, I love you all. Bye.